Today, we have the privilege and the honor to talk with the D.Adeena, an artist whose influence has no boundaries. In 2023, her presence was felt with over 88K streams and a dedicated following of 36,000 listeners. Okay, spread across 133 countries. Now that's an accomplishment. And her anthem, No Access, has become iconic, solidifying her position as a force in the music industry. Okay? Welcome,
Yes,
Queen.
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Like, we've been really looking forward to this. It took us a minute to get here, but we here, 2024. Let's get it.
Yes, totally worth it because
Absolutely.
we've been watching you since No Access. It's been about a year or so since we found you and started, watching and man, we're impressed. We pride ourselves on elevating as much as we can, but we were just like before talking to you and seeing like the elevation from then to now and even just with like few singles that you've been putting out and how you do all your own marketing and now you produce yourself and it's so cool. Like we're so blessed
It's
that we
very
get
impressive.
to like talk to people that we really want to talk to and like that's what we get to do. It's an honor. So welcome.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That means a lot.
Yes, Queen, we're
Yes.
happy to have you here and we know a little bit about you, but we just want to know a little bit more. Like we know you're from Pennsylvania, right? And now you're in Maryland, but tell us more about like where you come from and how you got started doing music.
Mhm.
So, I'm from Avondale, Pennsylvania, very small town. We're known for like the mushroom capital of the world. I mean, it's nothing to be proud of, but it's something to be proud of. Um, but honestly, with the music stuff, on my mom's side, they were just all into music, and I just gravitated, like always, wrote poems, wrote songs for fun, and as I got older, actually, in the fifth grade, I won this poetry. What is it? I forgot what it's called, but it's a poetry book, and certain students get picked, and I was one of those students that got picked. So that kind of helped me, continue with writing. And if I ever like had a crush when I was younger, I would just write about it. If I got my heart broken, so it was always there. It was always there. Um, but yeah, it's just therapeutic to me. But in 2018, I had a friend. Her boyfriend had a studio in his basement, and he was like, "You should come record." And I was like, "Yeah." And then I got in there. I was like, "I love this. I like this is what I'm meant to do." So that's really how it got started.
I love that.
Oh, I really do love the support that you got when you were like, he was like, just come through,
Mm.
do your lines, and you probably just went there and just had like all this fun.
Yeah, like you were just messing
Released it.
around and
Yeah.
now fast forward just like 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And now look at you. I mean,
A
you're
superstar.
doing it. You're doing it. And it's not easy to do, right? Being an independent artist, you're also like your own manager, your own marketing,
Engineering.
everything. But that's what queens do, right? That's what we were talking
Right,
about.
right.
Yeah, that's freaking cool. What were some of like your early influences? I'm curious to know, like musically.
Early influences, that's interesting. When I was like, I guess 5 to 6 years old, my dad would play Sade. So or Sade influenced like my tone. I think kind of subconsciously because people be saying like you kind of sound like Sade a little bit. And I'm like, it's my dad's fault, but I like her music. Don't get me wrong, I like her music. That's a legend. But
Oh
as
yeah.
I got into middle school to like uh dive into music myself, I would say Nicki Minaj. I respect
Mhm.
her as a person because of what it takes to be in the music industry, and that's not hard. I mean, that's hard. That's very hard. But just her demeanor and how she carries herself. Like some people might think she's like, kind of like, oh, she's rude, but she kind of has to carry this demeanor so people can respect her because it's male dominated. So
Hmm.
that's something I respect her for, because it's just like, wow, 15 years in the game strong like that. That's commendable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I feel you on that because
big time.
I one of my favorite things about Nikki, that this will always make me a fan of
Hmm.
hers, is like her honesty about what it's like being a female in that industry. And her being like, well, if I'm being assertive and telling you what I want, you call me a bitch. But if it's a guy that's doing it, you say he's being a boss. She said, so I'm going to have to be a bitch to get what I need done. And I really respected it because it's like, okay, well, you can call me what you want, but I'm still going to be at the top. And majority of the time, let's not, forget or foreplay that this woman was, in fact, even like some of the better verses most of the time on these songs that she would feature on. She would have the best bars. And I think when you're a female in the industry, people downplay your talent because they
Mm.
don't want you to be the best. They want you to be humble and be in your place and be grateful that you're there. But I love that what you took from her is like stand in it, stand in your boldest, stand your ground,
Hmm.
like be you, be authentic, and be about it, be a boss. So I like
Right,
that.
right.
I
Yeah.
do.
I love that woman. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And the lyricism is on point.
Right, right.
It's interesting. You said you did like poetry, and
Mhm.
you mentioned earlier spoken word,
Hmm.
and I know musically it just came natural for you, but what about the business side? Like,
Mhm.
how did you like to be an independent artist nowadays? You're the CEO, you're doing management, you're doing scheduling, you're, you know, doing all your own stuff. So
Mhm.
even with social media, like social media is a whole part-time job, sometimes a full-time job for us.
Right.
And it's like, how did you get that business mindset? Like how, where'd that come from?
Um, that's an interesting question. I would say it was always instilled in me to, persevere and get what you want. That was definitely taught by my dad indirectly. He was a great businessman throughout his life. I come from a family of hardworking women, so that they were great role models. But honestly, like the business aspect in general kind of strikes my creativity a little bit, because with marketing, you kind of have to use your own ideas to create something to life. But sometimes it's a struggle, because it's just like, oh, I gotta do this, and like, and you don't have a team, so you gotta do everything, and sometimes things might feel out of balance, so you gotta cater to this one thing over this other thing. So, like for example, like a project, like you gotta cater to recording the songs. You may not want to record as much content for the internet, because then you're going to be burning yourself out. But I just kind of realized that um, knowing a little bit of everything, and once I get my team, like I will have a better idea of what direction I want to go to, and someone wouldn't really be screwing me over as much as if I didn't know, if that makes sense.
No, that
Right.
makes a lot of sense. I think it's very smart, especially as an artist or creative in the world. When you choose that as you're walking into your destiny with that, you have to know more. You can't just be the artist. You need to be the artist with information.
Right, right.
You need to be the artist that knows what's being said, what's being written into contracts, um, just different things.
That's pretty special about like younger generations with social media, being a creator. Like you are the epitome of a creator to me. You do everything. You do your own. Kind of reminds me like Chris Brown,
Mhm.
or like, just I don't know, like just talented. I bet you could do like you're pretty much good at everything you do.
Yeah.
Like even if it was like sports or cooking, I don't know. But I'm sure you're good at it. You're just like that type of person. It's so cool. Um,
So I want to ask you about how it feels to accomplish as an artist, as a creative, to accomplish what you have accomplished, which is something huge for me because a lot of people don't even make it to 5 listeners because they don't share their music. They don't, you know, even tell family members to stream their music or like it or comment or show love and support. How does it feel to have 88,000 streams? That's got to be like a little different for you,
I mean,
you
it
know?
definitely is. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I kind of like struggle with perfectionism, so I always want more. And like even at that, it's just like, nah, that's nothing. I need more. But then it's just like that's kind of detrimental, but it's also motivating. So it's like learning that balance. But sometimes I gotta pause and like really remember where I came from. Like, hey, there was a time where I wasn't getting nothing on Spotify, so I need to be more grateful and be like, yo, you really did a great job, Adeena. And it's just like sometimes I don't give myself enough credit because it's just like I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. No one else is like really supporting, and I'm not just talking about like the fans. I'm talking about like in my inner circle because I'm the one that's keeping afloat. So it's just learning how to balance and not burn out, and mental health and self care is important when it comes to this business.
Mm.
Mm.
What do
Oh
you
yeah.
do for yourself to mentally prepare for? I know we all get excited and we're like hyped
Mm.
and surprised when we succeed, but what do you do to mentally prepare yourself for if something doesn't go your way as creative?
Good question. I'm still working on this, but working in progress. Recently it's just I've been into meditation in the morning and at night, but if something doesn't go my way, I just have to accept it for what it is and just look at it as it's not meant to be, and maybe something better will come along, a better idea, or someone else will come in to help me out, or whatever the situation may be. I try not to look at it as
Okay,
necessarily a bad thing anymore.
that's
Good.
beautiful. Good. That's
Good.
awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely a full-time job that we put everything into our business and we work 100%. So it's like you have to find that balance. Meditation is
Hmm.
huge for us. Like it's yoga, meditation, exercise. We do everything just
Love
so
it.
that we can secure our future. Because, we definitely don't have 88 streams. Well, we do have a song, but we got about 300 streams. And that's okay because nobody really knows about it. And
Mm.
we kind of just did it for fun. But I mean, that's a start. Like, you just started doing music 5 years ago. That's huge. To me,
Yes.
that's huge. There's millions, maybe 90% of the artists that have been doing it for 20, 30 years still don't have anybody listening.
Hmm.
Hmm. Maybe have
So,
like one listener.
yeah,
Which, by the way, if anybody's listening, that one listener matters.
yeah,
Keep doing it. Keep going.
yeah. It's a
So,
start. It's a
yes.
start.
And I believe that I saw that No Access. Make sure y'all go check this out. Go check out No Access video. Go check out the
Streaming.
song, stream it, download it. Okay. Get pop. So No Access had, I think, the highest streams on
Right.
Spotify for you. That was like the top
Yeah,
song
right now. Oop.
and thousands of listens.
Yeah,
No,
right
you
now
good?
it's at
Thousands. I was like, oh my
it's
god.
at 30K. So it's my most streamed single.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Sick.
love that.
Sick. And what about the video? Because you came up with the concept for that, right?
Yes.
And then who produced it?
His name or his handle is Adrian Motivated. Great person to work with. The chemistry was like on point. I gave him a storyboard. He's like, well, let's get this done, and that's what we did.
Yeah, it's super
Oh.
creative and like it's emotional and it's a really great video for you. Like I immediately felt like, oh, we have to get her on the
Yeah.
podcast. Like
She did.
she's sick. And it's just so
Yes.
cool. Like we were talking about the transformation that you made from then to now.
Hmm.
And like not just that, but like your style. Like you have different styles and it's almost kind of like you're still finding your style. So you're like trying new things.
Hmm.
And the one that I love is The Way You with Flamingo Bob.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's my favorite because we have that on our reggae playlist and man, it's fire. And
Hmm.
that video, everybody has to see that video of the dancers that you have. And
Yeah, they were killing
is
it.
that on YouTube also?
No, it's just on Instagram. I was thinking about putting it on
Oh,
other.
you gotta post
You
that.
gotta find a way
I
to
will.
post it.
Post it on YouTube Shorts
YouTube
because
is
Okay.
everything.
I think you could get millions of views on there. I think it was like 70,000 views just on
Right,
Instagram.
right.
So people need to see that. That's a sick video.
Bet I'm gonna do that.
Yes, and I know how we feel personally when we look at the, statistics or analytical form of like our listeners and streams, like just for our podcast, and like the different countries that people are in. And yeah, we got a couple countries up there listening, but you have 133 countries listening to you.
Yeah, that's
That's
that's a
nuts. You know how many
lot.
people beg for that? They love you, and that's so cool. Like you really have a genuine fan base, like really growing
Yeah.
and like listening to your music, and they're waiting for like the next thing, which is super cool.
What kind of like what kind of strategy do you have for like building your fan base and connecting with your fans?
Oh, that is a loaded question because it definitely was a trial and error. But honestly, like the best thing I could say is really just be genuine in who you are, and people are gonna naturally gravitate towards that. And honestly, just talk to people. Not necessarily like be their friend, but I mean, yeah, be their friend. Like just be genuine in your conversations. That's why I love you guys because you're genuine in when it comes to talking to people, so you're going to build those relationships, and I think that's the best way to build a fan base is those relationships.
I agree.
Absolutely.
And you must get a lot of people like, like super fans over you, but um it's kind of like I don't know, like you put yourself out there. That's the thing that's different about you. Like I know people who have a whole marketing, like maybe a record deal or a distribution deal or even management, but you really do the most, like to put yourself out there. You're on
Hmm.
interviews, you're on podcasts,
Mm.
you collaborate with tons of people. Um, it, and I know it's like marketing strategy, but for me, it's like a hunger and a desire to really push yourself. And, you know, 80,000 streams plus, that's a lot. And, I'm curious to see what are some of your big goals? Like what is that bucket list, not even number for you, but like what is that like passion that you want in your heart? Like, do you want to tour or work with like certain people? What's like the
What's your dream?
yeah, your biggest dream that you can think of?
um my biggest dream is I want to help people find themselves, be true to themselves.
Mm.
It's that's a forever process, I think, until you die because you're forever evolving. So me doing that, like I feel like I'm teaching other people doing it, and it may not always be directly, but I've just had multiple people like DM me talking about like you really helped me believe in myself, and it's just like when I hear those things or see those things, it's just like wow, like it feels like soul fulfilling. But outside of that, um I want to do more shows. I want to connect with people in person. Like the internet stuff's cool, but it's nothing like being in person. After my first show at that bar, like I was like, I gotta keep doing this. Like this is fun.
Yes, that's what a lot of artists say is that the live performances, being able to do it live and see people's genuine reactions and like really make that connection with them. Like real eye contact does something for the soul. It does. It just does.
Mhm.
And your presence speaks for itself more than your online presence will speak for anything else. And so I think that's a really good idea and to keep going and just do your live performances and meet people and that creates an even bigger outcome for your support system. These people that are going to support you until the very end, you know? And yeah, I love that.
We relate to that a
I really
lot
do.
because we, we pretty much want to hit the road. We want to travel and, meet all the artists that we work with. And but the part that really got me was when you said that you just want to help people, because you know we say this on repeat, but I'll keep saying it because it's not about followers or likes or numbers. It's about how you make people feel. And it's about your impact on the world, because at the end of the day, like you said, when everything turns to dust, our memory carries on. And the way we impacted people, the music that we and the art that we make, and even on a digital trail that we leave all this, content or art, music behind, that's kind of like our legacy in a time capsule. And that's everything to us, because we could care less if we got 3,000. We don't care the number, because we know what we want. We're headed in that direction. We're not stopping. And I love that about you, because like, I know you said you don't have a team, but you could pretty much count us as your team at this point. We're not going anywhere.
Appreciate that.
And yeah, so.
But yeah, for sure.
So yeah, so okay. We do want to talk about the new project.
Yes.
Did you have another question?
No, I did not.
Um,
I'm okay. Let's go.
yeah, I probably do have some more questions, but tell us about the new project that you're working on. I know it doesn't have a name to it. We don't want to spill the beans, but go ahead and let us know, what kind of vibe it's on.
So for this next project, it's more fun and uplifting. So it's a complete 360 or opposite of my last project, Echoes of Parathon, where it was like deep and heavy and like, getting to your soul. But when it comes to my projects in general, it's always going to have a deeper meaning to it, even if it seems surface level. There's always something behind the scenes. But like I said, with this project, more fun, uplifting, and the behind the scenes is really just me going with the flow and not worrying about perfectionism and like, oh, how does this sound? Like, yeah, that matters, but I don't want to hinder my creativity over that. And just step by step, either if it's the creation process, the marketing, the content, et cetera, et cetera. It's just, I'm just taking it one step at a time. And that's kind of teaching myself as a lesson, and I want to teach other people that sometimes it's okay to slow down, because you'll reach your goals. Sometimes when like you go like boom to your goals, it's just like, wait, how do I maintain this? So it's like you got to maintain as you go.
Right? It comes different every time. Like, same thing when I'm working on like artwork or something. It, sometimes it just comes natural or it's real deep, but sometimes, like you said, you have to have fun with it and not be so much of a perfectionist, because, that can kind of make you go in circles sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And, from your like Echoes of Parathon, right? Is that how you
Yes,
say
I
it?
say it.
It's Greek,
Yes, it's
right?
Greek.
I'm speaking Greek right now. This is yeah. Tell us what that means and like how you came up with it.
So Echoes of Parathon means echoes of the past. Um, so honestly, how did I come up with that? Like, I know I just didn't want the title to not be typical. I just wanted to like just add a little pizzazz. So I randomly just looked up Greek words. So I just like, oh, just put that in there. Um, but yeah, just mean it. Like the whole meaning in general is just like I have shadow parts that need to be healed, and they're not gonna be healed if I keep ignoring it. So it's about like facing yourself and loving yourself. Like the whole themes of those songs are just unreciprocated love, but it's really just you don't love yourself, and that you gotta just love yourself. So
Mm.
Okay. You know what?
Yeah.
I love that because when it comes to being an originator, because you can be an artist all day long, but if you're an originator and you come with something that's different that really speaks to you, and then express the meaning behind it through the entire project or whatever you're working on or creating, it just means something completely different. You're like giving a piece of yourself to the listeners, to the people that are hearing you, to the people that resonate with that feeling. They understand it, they see it, And obviously, as you can see, people really vibed,
Yeah,
Yeah.
surprisingly.
really vibed on a whole nother level with that. And
Because your vibe
yeah.
attracts your tribe. So if you're putting your healing process into your music, it's your therapy, it's your medicine, then the people who listen to it are gonna be, uh-oh, sorry.
Fire. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, like it's a healing process for you. So of course, when we hear it on our end, we're getting, a piece of that. And that's why we do what we do, because art and music is medicine.
Mhm.
And it's so beautiful to see like authentic, like hear your story. And honestly, like I can relate to a lot of that, especially no access, like all that. I think uh, as women we go through these stages, anybody, man, woman, anybody, and we kind of like lose ourselves in someone else, and then we have a heartbreak, and then you start to really appreciate, it takes a while to get there, right? But now look at us. I mean, we're
Yeah.
killing it. Let's be honest.
And even though it's on the other end of the stick, uh, and when it comes to relationships and things like that, it really reminds me a little bit of John Legend.
Mm.
And I love John Legend. But when he did the song All of Me, he wrote that for his wife. He wasn't going to release it to anywhere. And she was like, you better put that song out, because
Huh.
it's like, wow, that's really good. He wrote that for his wife. It wasn't even supposed to be something that everybody else could hear, but look how many people really felt that about their spouses. Like, wow, he put that into words that I couldn't probably normally express, but put it into song, you know? And so it becomes an anthem for people. It becomes a space where they can truly let that feeling unfold and really divulge into what that means to them, why they're having that feeling, what's causing that feeling, whether it's despair or sadness or happiness or joy. You want to be able to sit with those feelings, like you said, because how else are you going to be able to comprehend what's going on, what's happening? So that just makes you a top tier
A
creator.
leader. Yeah,
Yeah.
and a leader
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah, really appreciate
Do I smell a legend?
A
that.
legend.
Is there a legend in the making? Yeah.
Yeah, we want everybody to follow you,
Yes, we do.
obviously. We want people to stream your music, and um you'll see you have social media. You're on Instagram, D.Adeena,
Mm.
and we're gonna have all of your links in the description. Um, but before we go, we want to ask you, do you have any advice for other people who are going through situations of their own, maybe struggling or trying to find some light in a world full of darkness? Do you have any words of encouragement for them?
Yeah, of course. I could put it simply as don't give up, but I know that's so cliche. And I know how like life can be heavy, and sometimes people just feel like giving up. I can feel that way, and it's just like, geez, like what am I doing? But at the same time, like find your driving force. And I know that might be easier said than done, but it's really good to just sit with yourself and really woosah and meditate and just really just like what is my driving force, like what do I want to do, because a lot of people that like give up in a sense or feel like they want to give up is because they kind of lack direction and
Mm.
or clarity. So it's really just going within, and that may look like it may look different for other people. So like whatever kind of resonates with your spirit, you go with it and trust your intuition always. Don't second guess yourself. That's all I gotta say.
Hmm.
Okay, I know that's right. You know what? We really appreciate you taking the time to sit with us and have this conversation and spread that positivity that pure, to me, that's pure love to give people advice and like really mean it from a place of genuine, I want to see you shine. Um, and that's what we're all about. So thank you again for sharing your time with us and coming on. And I can't even right now.
We love you, Queen. We
I
love
love
you
you.
so much. It means the world to us that you come on our podcast and share your light with us and with the world. It's really a blessing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you guys for having me on your show and giving me a platform to, speak my truth.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you have a beautiful and blessed rest of the day. We appreciate you so much. And to everybody that's listening, make sure you subscribe, like, and drop a lot of love on her YouTube. Her, if she got a Facebook, do it there too. If she got Instagram, of course she do. So do it there too. I mean, on all the platforms.
Yes. And if
Follow,
you
like, subscribe.
if you got any value from this, you feel this conversation,
Mm-hmm.
just hit the subscribe and hit the follow, Spotify, anything like that. Make sure you share it
Mm-hmm.
because that means everything for us. So thank you again, and we love all of you.
See you soon.
Peace.